Cheers.
Cheers. I am having a cuppa with Wolf, or Johnny, as I assume you prefer to go by.
In person, Johnny. I think it's a bit weird to be like, "What's up, Wolf?" Like, who the hell's that? But yeah, it doesn't. It would have bothered me like 2 years ago if someone called me something different. But now it doesn't matter. As long as you're talking about me,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, even if it's bad.
Could it be any name? What would be the worst name somebody could call you?
Oh, I don't know. That's a very difficult one. Like any name that doesn't. That's a difficult one. I have to think about that. That's
Okay, we'll
that's a
come
good
back.
question. I'll think.
Like cat or something soft.
Yeah, like
wolf.
or I get you. Yeah, maybe like mouse. I could probably. I don't know.
Wolf, you're a
Yeah,
mouse.
I don't really mind as long as you're talking about me.
Okay.
Or talking to me.
Yeah.
For talking to me. I'm gonna turn like this.
Right.
Sorry, Dave.
Well, thanks for coming out.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Happy days. And now the cameras are like on both of us.
There's many cameras.
Many cameras. But you are starting to pave the way of vlogging in music.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's a difficult thing to do. A daily vlog. I've strayed away from the straight daily vlogging, which is shoot your day, edit at night, put it up the next day, because you don't have much of a life after that. So it's more vlog and then edit loads and then have like a backlog of stuff you can put out. Yeah, but it's been amazing. I would urge anyone, it doesn't have to be a vlog, just, doing something. You like to make a lot of videos yourself, obviously. Content is the way forward. You can't just be, here's my song, go buy it, or here's my gig, come to it. Because people don't respond to that anymore. It's everyone's a musician and you have to kind of differentiate yourself from everyone else.
And your videos are very natural, like, as well. They're not very highly edited, which I find that people respond to better.
Yeah.
Like, rather than, I know you do quite a variety, but, they are off the wall and stuff, crazy stuff you think of.
I think authentic, it can't be like, like if you can smell bullshit, people don't react to that in a positive way. They kind of go, everyone's the same thing. They're like, I don't believe that guy. And they just want to be, not that you want to be believable, you just do what you do. And then if people react to it, grand.
Great.
Otherwise, there's no point in starting out trying to be someone else. And then if no one reacts to that, you're like, what should I do now? So people just do you. And that's all I'm trying to do. And because the reason they're not like big masterful productions is because I would actually never sleep if I spent any more time than I do on them. It's like, barely sleeping.
But I was watching one recently and you had said, let's talk about vlogging, and you were saying that you're finding it a little bit restrictive, that you want to have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah. It's the thing I meant with that was the format I had. I'm very once I start something, I like to continue it in the same kind of like vein all the time. So I knew once I started, even though I started with the hope that I could just get over myself with that and just do whatever comes, but I'd started like with this format of like a little bit of footage at the start and then the credit and then the good morning, it's Tuesday the whatever of April, and then the day unfolded in that kind of way. But I wanted it to be more just any video I wanted to make. If it's like a 30-second video some days, or a full vlog of a whole day, like today will be more of a a traditional vlog type thing. But a few days ago I was going into Tesco to get printer ink, and I just grabbed the camera and thought, let's make a video on like printer ink and why the hell is printer ink more expensive than a printer. And, and that frees you up to the sort of like, I don't have to make a vlog every day, but I just have to put something up that is me.
And interest you as well. Like,
exactly.
You have to be interested, or else,
of course, it doesn't.
Once it starts becoming work, then you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Yeah, because I make videos as well for work.
Okay.
So if I would just be working at videos all the time, but I do sit in front of, a laptop editing videos for a good half of my life at the moment, which is good as well. You could do worse things.
You could be doing worse things. And more amazing things that you're doing is your new EP is out.
It is.
Flesh, Blood, Skin and Bones?
Yeah,
get it right?
Yeah, Flesh, Blood, Skin and Bone. It was originally called Flesh. The song was originally called Flesh, Blood, Skin and Bones. And then we just took off the S.
Okay.
Just to save on.
Just one bone.
Yeah, just one. So it's just one bone. One flesh, one skin, one blood, one bone.
Okay. So it wasn't too painful, it was only one bone.
Just one bone. It was a vital bone though. I won't tell you what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very scared.
Please note, Flesh, Blood, Skin and Bone is not based on real life events.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, nobody was hurt.
Nobody was hurt in the
making.
making. Well, not physically anyway.
You maybe a little bit emotionally.
No,
No.
no, I'm only joking. Yeah, I released it on Record Store Day, and I actually DIY screen printed these EPs. Before I was even WOLFF, when I was still playing as Johnny Stewart, it was like 2 years ago. I just bought 100 of these cardboard mailing CD covers and screen printed them myself, and then just sat there. And a few weeks before Record Store Day, I thought I have to do something with those. So got it all together, made 100 of them, sort of hand wrote the track list on the back, and just put it all together, and managed to get an in-store Tower Records on Record Store Day, and yeah, it was great just to get
Yeah,
it
they
out.
look deadly, to be fair. Like
They are.
they do.
I'm not.
I'm
even
sure they
biased.
sound
Yeah.
deadly as well,
Yeah.
but
I
they
should have brought it
do.
in from the van so we could hold it up right
We'll
now.
take a picture.
We'll take a picture. It'll
But
last
yeah,
longer.
like, and then I was like, oh, why did he only make 100? Was he trying to do this cool limited edition thing? But then I realized you handmade them, and I was like, it's
Yeah.
probably part of the reason there's only 100.
Yeah, because it is, even if I wanted to do more, like I could make a version of that, but it wouldn't be like the same kind of thing. But the reason that they were limited to 100, because I'd only screen printed 100 of these, and I couldn't even screen print more of them if I wanted to, because the screen, I don't even know where the screen I made is, and I can't remember what exactly I did to get the same. I wouldn't be able to get the same effect. So but that's why it wasn't like I'll do 100 and then everyone would like, make more, Johnny, and then I'm like, I actually have more. It's purely just it was just the
This is it.
coincidence that
Yeah.
it was going to be 100.
It's cool though. It gives that kind of get them now, and then that's
Yeah, well,
it.
I'm about to put them up on Spotify and iTunes and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff. I know, because people keep asking, like, what's your Spotify link? I'm like, I don't know.
Check out my videos.
Yeah, just look at my videos.
Yeah.
But it's 2016, so yeah. If you want to, you should probably have stuff on
Do you find
Spotify.
it you're very spread thin that way? Like as a musician, like there are so many avenues that you have to.
There is, I think, there's if anyone who watches the vlogs, which you do, there's a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk
Yes.
who I got really into his sort of view on content and business and marketing and all that kind of stuff. And he says everything works, but not everything works for you. So to find out if it works, you just have to try it out and see what you like.
Yes, absolutely. I find that with blogging as well. Like, and I'd follow some blogger groups, and there's these bloggers who are like, "Oh, do this on Snapchat and do this," and it's like, Snapchat is good, but it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah, that's. I
So
think
yeah,
again, bringing it back to like, if you don't like it,
Yeah.
like, you can't really use like Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook if you don't like them.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. Like, I like the likes of a Deezer, like is a
Mm-hmm.
site for music that I just don't like how it feels, so I don't use that as an outlet for my music. I like the traditional digital stuff like iTunes and Spotify, and just sort of keep it simple that way. But I don't mind being, in terms of being spread thin. I think if one person discovers you through an app or it's
Yeah.
worth it. Like, just being on there for
Yeah.
that one person.
yeah. Like I have 2 blogs, so just kind of sticking with the music one, Cool Kind. Like I'm not on like Pinterest, where loads of bloggers are
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, you'll get loads of traffic through Pinterest," but where I doubt there's too many bloggers on Mixcloud, and I put all my shows up on Mixcloud. But now I'm thinking, should I go on to SoundCloud? So you just have to fine
You just
tune
have to
exactly what
find
it is
what's
you're
right
doing.
for you,
Yeah,
and know that the only way to success on any of those things, that Pinterest is great, but if you're not using it in the right way on a regular, consistent basis, then it doesn't. It's after I did 45 like actual daily vlogs from like the first one, like in a row, and the immediacy of the feedback and the extra interaction and engagement in like the first 2 weeks. I think the reach I had on the vlogs was like 1 million on Facebook. 1 million people reached, and yeah, a vlog on its own doesn't do much, but like one pin doesn't do much for you on Pinterest. But it's
has
that
to be
consistency,
continuous.
like, and people come back for it.
absolutely. Even I went to an advertising talk recently by a local radio station, and they were saying the same thing. You could come on and throw loads of money, and we'll do one big ad, and it'll go out over 2 weeks. But rather, would you not pay a smaller amount per week, but do it throughout the year?
Yeah.
And it's just this continuous flow of.
Exactly.
There's no point in coming and making a splash and then
Yeah.
disappearing, because
Unless you're like specifically trying to like, right, in the next 2 weeks, at the end of that 2 weeks, although I think I'm starting to change my mindset to that as well. A lot of people would do they'll come on radio and be like, the album's out next week, so you're telling me that I'm on radio now, but I can't buy your album because I have you in my mind now. So many people do that. They go, right, we'll do all the radio stations. We'll get in hot press, and we'll do all the music blogs. And Johnny's album is out in a week, but you have my attention now. In a week, I'm not going to remember that you have an album out today.
Absolutely.
So I think it's that having a maintaining that awareness when you have something to sell is much more important than like I'm selling something in a week.
Yeah.
Because you forget about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got there. But we did.
One thing I find with your videos as well, you're a very great mental health activist.
I don't know how that. It was definitely
it's not
subconscious.
like you have mental health issues that you want to express.
I've had some stuff happen in my life where I probably could have had that pressure and stress get to me in that way. I overcame it in my own way, like internally within a few weeks of like, it was a death in the family, and I just decided, right, I'm going to let this positively affect me, because I think that people talk about negative energy or positive energy. I think it's just energy.
It's energy.
And then you can apply positive traits to it. So I just sort of went, right, I'll just be positive about this, and I'll make me stronger, which is why I became who I don't know who I was before that, but I know that I was stronger after it.
I had a similar experience, so I understand.
You just kind of have to, some people just aren't built that way where they can get on with it themselves. Like I started writing a song. Actually started out as I'm into hip hop. I want to like cross hip hop with like my fuzzy stuff sometime, but I started writing this kind of more like hip hop poetry style song. We're talking about, I definitely used to be addicted to gambling without realizing it, but got out before I was like fully fledged.
Yeah.
And I just have this like knack of getting myself out of situations that I get myself into before it gets too bad, which is, I'm lucky that way. But I don't know how I got into talking about mental health.
Did something happen in your hometown or something?
Unfortunately, there has been a few people I went to school with who I lost to suicide. Maybe that like sort of sat with me and it came out. I think it was the cycle against suicide was coming to Wexford last year, and a friend of mine who lost his brother to suicide, he had asked me to get involved and sing a song, but the time didn't work out, so I couldn't do it. And I know I did a vlog on like a local counsellor took his own life like a month ago. And it really hit the whole town really hard, because everyone kept talking about how happy this guy was, and
you just never know.
You just never know what's going on in someone's head. But I think that I saw it, that like I'd seen it before, where everyone like, oh my God, this is happening. We need to rally behind him. We need to do something about this. And then like a month later, no one's talking about it anymore. And that day, I remember I had played in Whelan's with Otherkin the night before, I think, and I came back late, and I forgot to charge the battery in my vlogging camera. So when I woke up, the battery was dead, and I couldn't use it. So I said, right, I'll do that little vlog later on. And when I got back to the battery being charged, the news had broke that what had happened, and I just didn't feel like talking about anything else. And I think that might have been sort of the first. I definitely like shared some posts, or like Brezzy and Blind Boy from Road Bandits are all talking about it, but I'd sort of, I think I have not stumbled into it, but I'm feeling that, right, if I have any voice, that someone's listened to me. Like I've had some amazing messages since I started vlogging where people are saying that like, you're after inspiring me, you're motivating me, which I didn't take like the first week of that. I was like, this is heavy, because it's like what you want to do with music is inspire people, and when the thing you want to happen happens, it's a lot different than the feeling you thought you'd have. So I kind of took more of a, with great power comes great responsibility thing, and
but
just talk about
it's
something.
great that you're using that platform that you have to inspire change and inspire people. And like, music is always a great message, but when you can really make people make a difference in their own lives as well, it's absolutely fantastic.
It is. The thing I found is that music, because I can talk about anything I want in music, and people can listen to the song and go, oh yeah, that's about that or whatever. But I think when you actually say outright that, if you like, I've had problems talk to someone, if you like, people actually respond to just someone talking rather than writing a song is a powerful way of reaching a lot of people. But actually just saying it coming from your mouth, and just saying, hey, like the thing with Sinead O'Connor during the week. And I saw so many people,
Terrible.
and it was, and I know that Joe had a great piece on it, where they said, like, you know, a week ago everyone was outraged that only 12 people showed up to the
Yeah, I read it, and now you're all berating Sinead O'Connor. Like, what's...
if that was you know, Sinead O'Connor, your neighbour from down the road, you wouldn't speak like that.
But if Sinead O'Connor had died,
yeah,
everyone would be so sad.
So yeah, outrage, and then again it would come back around to like, we need to do something with mental health, and it's just that hypocrisy. And,
it's totally hypocrisy.
And people,
they don't understand still.
They don't
that
understand.
She's sick.
No, they don't. What they don't understand is that they don't look close enough to home. The point I took with it was, say I take to Facebook and go, oh, Sinead O'Connor looking for publicity again, and like, oh, what's she trying to sell? And what if one of my best friends was having like problems with mental health, and then he saw my post about it, and he thought, oh well, it must be bad.
It's weird. Like,
I can't talk to him about it, or like, oh, it's weird. And you're just like, just grow up and realize that everything you say, especially around mental health, because look, we've all said stuff like that, you know, we poke fun or something, or we like make a light of things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but even the people who are trying to support her still kind of went out like, oh, she's mad as a box of frogs. Like, and you're like, okay, you're trying to support her, but you're still kind of going, ah, sure, she's mad. And that whole, maybe it's an Irish thing where it's like, ah, sure, you're one, sure, she's mad.
Yeah.
And it's just the mentality that we have to get out of. And I was listening to a thing on News Talk yesterday. It was a guidance counsellor from a school, and they've just reinstated funding for guidance counsellors in schools, thankfully. But he was talking about if you put like the word mental health guidance or advice or care on a door of someone in a school, that the kids won't come to it because you'll see the word mental health. And then he kept talking about like it's a stigmatized word, and it's like you're stigmatizing it further by not talking about it. And if you know the best way to like get through that is just to talk about it, and anyone who has a voice should just talk about like it's okay not to feel okay, and it's okay to ask for help.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Yes, that's the Cycle Against Suicide motto, and I got involved with them finally this year. I rang like the day before it was happening in my old school in Wexford in St. Peter's College, and just said, look, I have a guitar, I can come down and play a few songs, whatever you want. And I ended up playing a couple of acoustic tracks, and then it turned out that the event's organizer for Cycle Against Suicide, Trisha, she saw me play in Vicar Street last December, and she said, what are you doing tomorrow morning? I said, nothing. She said, come in and play a few songs, like get everything started.
Great.
So then 5 minutes later I was meeting Jim Breen, the
Happy
CEO.
days. Yeah, wow.
And he was like, what's the story? I'm like, well, I really want to help any way I can. And he was like, grand, let's do whatever we can. And I went to that school. I left in like 10 years ago, and just two things hit me about what I could do that day and what the change is happening in with younger people in schools. Number one, Jim Breen, the way he starts his talks in schools is that he starts with like a really energetic song, and he gets in and gets everyone jumping up and down, and like imagine like 400 young teenage boys sitting down to try and get them up and dancing, and I was like, he's never going to do this. And he came over and grabbed my hand, and I don't dance, I can't dance, like it's my least favorite thing to do. But and the minute he grabbed my hand and like sort of come on, I was like, I get it, like if I do it, they'll do it. Because I went over to like a group of like, I remember seeing like 6 like 13-year-olds, and I was like, they were like, no, not doing it. I just grabbed them and said, come on, and they did it because they saw someone who was older than them, but not old enough that they couldn't relate to him. They're like, oh, this guy's kind of like, you know,
he's a cool guy. We can be cool too.
If that's what it is, I'd have no. If someone says like that guy's a cool guy and he's doing it,
yes.
So I think that's why it's the responsibility of people.
But to relate that towards talking as well. If people see you talking, they'll think it's okay to talk.
It's okay to talk about it because he's talking about it, and he seems like he's fine.
Yes.
But he's talking about it. Like no one's saying, oh, look at him, he's talking about mental health, and then. The thing that blew my mind, I was walking back through like the corridors of the school that I went to like 10 years ago, and I saw this, I caught it out of the corner of my eye, and I was listening as I was going by. One of the kids like hugged another guy and said, sorry I said that, I didn't know it would make you feel like that. And I was like, whoa, what? I was like, if that's, I know, yeah, it was like that. Awesome.
Awesome.
Because if that was something, the most trivial things when I was in school would turn into a guy from town and a guy from the country having a fight. Over like, you know, oh, you walk by me in the hall and you hit me in the shoulder, like this kind of like, especially with I think, I'm not sure, I can only speak for boys, you know, because I
went to
the
an all-girls
Well, I
school,
don't know
so
if it's like easier. Is it easier? Do girls talk about their feelings in a more open? I don't know that guys would be less bullshitty about it, that they would just say it, but like they wouldn't be catty about it or like, but I'm not sure. I just imagine when I heard that in the hall, I was like, that's great.
Great.
Like that's exactly what should be happening. Like there's so much I didn't comprehend how this would make you feel. But like just thinking about other people's feelings, and it brings back to like on Facebook saying Sinead O'Connor is just looking for publicity, or like, well, is the guy down the road who you went to school with who's gone missing now, is he looking for publicity? No, he's dealing with something that you can't comprehend, but maybe if you had an open conversation about it, he might feel like he'd come up to you and say, I'm having some trouble, I need help. Like this music interview is going swimmingly into music.
I was going to ask you about like Sweeney's closing down and everything, because I know that's affected you.
See, I live in Wexford, so if you live, I think I don't want to say like a generalisation here, but if you live in Dublin, you have like Sweeney's is like your local, or Whelan's is your local, or you have all these places where you can go and play. Whereas for me, I have to like get involved somehow, and like I don't have like a huge pull in Dublin where I can say I'm playing Sweeney's tonight. And a lot of bands get to play, like do little mini tours of Dublin every couple of weeks, and it's amazing. But I just never got to Sweeney's. It seemed that every gig I ended up getting booked for was Whelan's or
you're in the Mez on the 27th.
In the Mez on the 27th of May.
Yeah.
Be there. It's a free gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was saddened because it was on. I remember seeing I think the Stripes played there before Christmas, I think, and it looked like I think Josh broke his guitar, and it's like I want to play there.
Great.
And so
do you find with the fact that Sweeney's closing down, and there is still, it's, while the Irish music scene is absolutely amazing at the moment, there's still very few places open to holding gigs. Like we're still very much we love the cover bands kind of country.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, coming from Wexford, like there's very few places that my music, like when I was playing different stuff, was a bit softer and more like, I'd say pop orientated, but because I still think that my music now is pop because it's supposed to be catchy music. But when I was less loud, let's say that, like now the place I can really only play in one place in Wexford, really, maybe two, but even at that, if I just played acoustic stuff, there's only like 6 places you could really play in town.
So do you think with Sweeney's closing down, it's kind of closing that?
I don't know. For me, when you come up here, there's still like a million places you can technically play. But I suppose when you look at it, like I think looking at the type of music that I was played in Sweeney's, it was always my type of like it was like the bastion of louder rock music. It had that kind of edge to it, but I'm not fully integrated into the Dublin music scene where I know like, okay, the Mez is for this music, or like I don't know if I don't see it as, I see it as a bad thing, but I don't think that
it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. I like the way they said that maybe it will, I think it's because it's been sold, and maybe when it's bought and everything, it comes out in the wash, maybe they'll open up the doors again. And there's quite clearly, I think, the outpouring of which is always sad in a way, because it's always when someone dies or something closes down when everyone comes out of the woodwork and says, oh, we really love that. And it's like, well, did you go to every gig, or did you like show that support?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think it's just a sad case. In this case, wasn't the building just sold? The lease ran out and the building was sold. Where some places closed down because they weren't doing business.
Okay.
So
yeah,
but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like, use it or lose it.
Yeah, use it or lose it kind of thing. But like it's a different situation in this case. But still, like, it's always when like the end of an era comes that you realize, crap, we had something there.
Yeah.
So, but for me, like I said, there's not like there'll be a million bands looking for like, we have nowhere to play now. Mm-hmm. They will find somewhere else to play, and somewhere else will take up that mantle of like, we'll go there. Unfortunately. So people should go and see you in the Mez on the 27th of May. Yes. Anywhere else? Check you out on Facebook. Facebook, and this is wolf.com, 2 Fs. Wolf with 2 Fs. We never mentioned that. Don't ask why. Just it is. That's the way it
These
is.
people should just know it already.
Yeah, people should know it already. But
Yep.
this is wolf.com, 2 Fs, and all the links everywhere on there. But yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.com.